Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today, finally, from the new Earthspark animated series, this is Warrior Class Elita-1. I got this figure off of Amazon. It is available now. You can just search Earthspark Elita-1 and find it. There are a few other Earthspark figures available, but they went from being available to pre-order to you don't know when we're going to get them, and they're also listed under their code names. So it's kind of hard to search for, but there's like the deluxe class Bumblebee, deluxe class Megatron, a couple, and about two or three of the flip and change figures. But out of all that I've ordered, which was basically Elita-1, deluxe Twitch, and the three flip and changers, Elita-1 is the only one that shipped. So I really don't know what's going on there, but it is what it is. Now, again, Elita is a warrior class figure, which means articulation, plastic quality is going to be very limited. Also, there is a gimmick. Now, thankfully, this is not like Wave 1 Cyberverse figures, where the gimmicks were very poorly executed for the most part, with using gears and cheap springs. This is something you have to do manually, and it involves flipping her weapon around from a laser pistol just like that to a much larger rifle. And let me just say that rifle is going to play an integral part in the difficulty of the transformation to vehicle mode. There is like a 5mm port right there. Don't know why. I don't know if it's supposed to combine with something later on, but you just flip it back just like so. And you have to go in that direction just because the blaster can't fit through. It does securely fasten into place. It unfortunately, as you can see, it does make the arm a little bit longer, and there is a bit of a rotation gimmick here, but a lot of that has to do with, again, the transformation. In terms of articulation, you have ball jointed hips. You do have very odd looking knees. They're not at the knee joint because this whole section is all molded plastic, so it's the legs bend from there. Ball jointed hips, which are nice and tight. You have ball jointed elbows. You do have ball jointed arms at the shoulder, but you do also rotate at what would be the shoulder pad. And yes, the head is fixed into place because it's all molded into this back piece, and it does actually sit up that high. Some of the images on the instructions will make it look like it sits lower, but on the packaging, it's a little more accurate. So there is that. So how about we pause, and we'll come back for the transformation. Okay, so I brought the figure back to a neutral pose. The first thing you want to do is come into the chest here, and you want to unpeg it. It unpegs up here where the shoulder pads are, and then also at the waist. And it can be a little tricky the first couple times. I actually had this panel come flying off because it just friction tabs in. So get that out and down. The next thing you want to do is come around to the back or the side, unpeg the whole backpack section with the Elita's head, and you're just going to rotate that down and tuck it and peg it back in here at the bottom, tucking the head away. Finally, we're going to rotate the whole arms at that shoulder pad up just like so. Make sure that's all pegged in. And then you're going to rotate this panel up and around, and it will peg in right there. This will also help you let you know if you have the shoulders rotated properly. Next, what we can do is come down to the legs here, peg them together, rotate the side wheels down ever so slightly, so now that the wheels are now touching the ground, and you're going to bend the legs forward all the way on that reverse knee joint, and then bending them back with the hips. You'll notice there are these tabs here on the back of the legs. They're going to fit into slots on the backpack. And then we're going to bring down these side panels just like so. And these are a little tricky to get in. You're going to have to massage them in because there are clips and stuff. And just to get everything into place, this will, you might have to work with these shoulder pads a little, the back wheel wells, pretty much everything. These are softer plastics, so there is that. So just get that down, and there we go, just like so, just like so. And now we're going to come down underneath. Now, if you'll notice, there are 2 tabs on each panel at different angles. The first tab is very easy to peg in, that right there. And then you want to make sure, you want to try to have this closed as much as possible. So there is going to be a little gappage. So just rotate the shoulder pad to make sure that's as flush. And now, this is the worst part of the transformation, getting this arm into place. I have tried to find other ways of doing it, and you do, at the end of the day, you do end up having to just bend the arm at the elbow, rotate it around, rotate the gun at that swivel point I pointed out before, and then proceed to then rotate the arm back into place, well, keeping that gun level and without rotating it at the wrist. And it isn't pretty, but then you'll get the arm back into position where you can then bring it down and peg it into place there at its peg. Make sure the rifle there lays flat. Make sure you have the shoulder pads rotated up. Everything's good. And there's Elita in its vehicle mode. There is clearance with for the wheels to roll. Unfortunately, these are all that very mushroom pegged in wheels. So on my flat surface here, it's not going to roll as freely. And I mean, overall, the plastic does feel cheap, unfortunately. So there is that, and I do not have that pegged in properly. So there you go. It's a nice vehicle mode. The transformation actually isn't that bad until you get to the end here, dealing with the arm. I tried to find a shortcut or something, but nope. It is what it is. There's a little mold flash there on the side. There we go. There's even on that side too. It's covering up some pins. Oh well, it happens. So yeah, there's really not much to say about the vehicle mode. And since this is supposed to be the kid-friendly toy, or the kid-friendly class, I should say, I will, for those of you who are parents and guardians, give you a hand and transform her back. So come back underneath, unpeg the arm. Let's do this one first. You want to get it up. Yeah, maybe rotate it around. That'll help a little. Yeah, you're already basic. That'll just help keep it out of the way. Just if you just rotate it out, make your life a little easier. Rotate this arm up. Now to unpeg these panels, what can I recommend? Here, I'm just rotating that back around. The easiest way I've found to do it is press in on the door slightly, and that will help while you're trying to massage the leg out, the panel out, because it hooks in. And if you pull back slightly, you should be able to free the hook, and then you can flip it up. And I did it again on this side. So there you go. So you get those panels up. And yeah, I'm not in love with that snapping sound, but what are you going to do? Separate the legs from the roof panel. Bring them forward. There is a little bit of a natural stop there. Rotate the wheels ever so slightly just to get them off the ground so the feet will stay flat. Separate the legs. Bring this panel down. Rotate the shoulders forward, or shoulder panels forward. bring up this whole back section, and there's a, right where my thumb is, I don't think you can really see it, there's a hole. There's the peg under Elita's head. So we're just going to collapse this up, peg it into place. Yeah, I do think it sits a little high, but what are you going to do? And then collapse the panel up. So I think there are these like little tabs right here at the base that are supposed to fit into a notch there. And that'll collapse in just like that, like that. And there you have Elita back into its robot mode. So I think this is a good figure, not a great figure. But I guess that's about it. So we'll come back with my final. Like I said, Elita-1 is a good figure. It's the only Earthspark figure I have thus far, so I don't really have a base to compare it with. I mean, the transformation is simple enough until you get to the point where you have to work with the weapon arm, and then it becomes a problem. And it's not that much fun. And I know a lot of kids are going to have a problem doing that. And that's not fun either. So there's that. Hopefully the deluxe version, which I think is coming, will be a little bit better, but who knows. So I think in terms of recommending, if you have a choice, try to grab any of the other figures. Optimus Prime, the Warrior Class one, looks okay. So maybe go for that one. And then, we'll see how it goes. The flip changers and all that stuff, those are obviously going to be much simpler and a little more child friendly. And then the deluxe figures, they're not bad, but to be honest, from what I've seen of them, I haven't been that impressed. So I guess my overall recommendation is But as I said at the beginning, I got this figure from Amazon.com. It is in stock right now. It's going about for $15, 15 and change after tax. So yeah, it's not bad. And that is the first, as far as I know, North American sighting for anything Earthspark related, or I should say American sighting for anything Earthspark related. None of the brick and mortar retail that I go to have, they even have a sign out advertising it. So I don't know what's going on there. But Canada has had these for a few weeks. They actually had them well before Christmas, which was really odd that the quote-unquote kid-friendly line was not available for the Christmas holiday season. So that's about it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Well, I will always appreciate the views. The likes, comments, and subscriptions help to communicate to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel should be exalted and held upon high. If you want to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month or $12 a year. No thrills, no tiers, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you, help me to help you bring figures like this to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel. As I often say, I know times are tough. There's a bit of inflation, a recession. Things are just not good economically for most people. So if you can't swing the $1 a month, $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae. So that's about it for the review. This is your old pal Chuck for Elita-1. We will see you next time.